Hello everybody. This video is a continuation of the previous video on sorting. In the previous video we talked about bubble sort. So if you haven't seen that, you might want to see that first. This video is going to continue that, and we're going to talk about two other sorts. We had bubble sort prior. So now we're going to see insertion and selection sort, these other two loop sorts here. I've already got all the code set up for each of those, so you can kind of see there. Now, I am including the stuff that I built previously, which was the timers and the fill. So if you already looked at bubble sort, then you should already have those in your code. The only new stuff would be the actual sort itself. And then, of course, the main that runs everything. So, let me rearrange a few things here and add a couple of things before we get started, and I've outlined how all this works. Alright, there we go. That should be what we want. And I need timers, of course. We'll do that there. Now you can't do all these sorts in one place. I'm doing them in separate files just to keep them apart, but we could also do them in one file. So, all right, and I think actually I'm missing. Oh, I am. It's not that I'm missing something; it's that I did not do that last little part right. There we go. So let me rearrange that, and we'll be ready to go. All right, so we have two new sorts here. Insertion sort, selection sort. And again, they're just like the others. They're loop sorts. So you can tell they're probably not going to be as great as something a little more recursive. But let's take a look at how these run. So we got insertion, we got selection, and we got bubble. These are the three that we're looking at. And they are the worst sorts. I mean, there's no argument about that. You can go down here and see that, comparisons and swaps and various other things, they're still n squared, which is not great. So, but some of these can be faster. It depends on how the array is arranged. So let's take a look. I'll run all of them. We'll just focus on these three. And if we take a little look, insertion seems to work a little faster. Bubble's probably second, selection is third in this list here. So if we take a look at them actually in action, all right, well, let's do it this way. I had it a second ago. Let's take a look at the pseudocode comparatively. So here we have, the basic code for this. There's two loops. There's some swaps involved for selection sort. We've still got two loops, and there's a little bit of a swap and a couple of other little bits pieces here. Insertion sort, you still see two loops and some sort of swap. I mean, they swap and do things a little differently. So let's look at insertion sort first, since we're already here. So take a look. And as with bubble sort, you notice it finished really quickly on bubble sort. It should kind of give you an idea of how this works. And of course, the worst case, just like bubble sort, is, of course, reverse. So, all right, so if we look at just this one, what it does is it starts with, two items, and it sorts those two items. It moves to three, sorts those three. Moves to the fourth, it sorts those four. And it just, every time it expands by one, it sorts that. As opposed to bubble sort, that goes and finds the smallest number and swaps it all the way up hundreds or thousands of times to get to the top. This will sort the array one at a time, and then it'll expand it and it'll sort it again it'll expand it, you'll sort it again. And you might think, well, why is that faster if it's constantly sorting it every time? Well, one, anything that's already mostly sorted, you notice nearly sorted right here, finishes quick. It's true for almost all those sorts. So what this is doing is it's sorting it, then expanding it, and now it's already mostly sorted. So it sorts it again. It expands it. Well, it's mostly sorted except for that one number. So it sorts it. So it does a lot more sorting, but it's doing it all on almost completely sorted arrays, which makes it end up running a little faster. So let's take a look at insertion sort. I've got it set for an array of 100, and we're going to, of course, time it and check it. And this is just to check to make sure that it's actually sorting. We have my actual code here. You want to take a look? We have, of course, the length of the array. We go the length of the array. If it's already sorted, we leave. If not, we'll go through here, and this is where the actual sorting is. We go in and this is just like the bubble sort, we kind of start, and then we, as you can see, get a little key value, use that to kind of start a whole process. And this loop here will sort. Now this is going to, as I said, it's going to make a smaller array, go down and sort, a little bit at a time. So let's see what this looks like. I'm going to run through the code for you real quick. We have timers, which I set up before. We have the end timer, which tells us how long it was until it ended. So again, this gets a timestamp of how many milliseconds have occurred between now and usually it's 1970, January 1st. And then we do it again and we do some subtraction, and that's how many milliseconds have occurred between those two options, two actions. My fill fills the array with random numbers. Actually, it doesn't really fill, it creates it. So since this is a list, I just start with an empty list down here. And I'm just basically appending to that list and, however many numbers I need. And it's going to be 0 to 10,000. It could be bigger. It doesn't really matter. You can even make a variable up there if you wanted, the max rand into the min rand or something. And then we could adjust those if we wanted to. I mean, this is enough for what I need to do. So I'm going to leave it as is. There is my insertion sort, of course, that we just saw. So let's run it and take a little look and see here. I'll run it. Bip. And it does indeed look like it's sorted. There's the previous unsorted one. There's the sorted one. It is in the proper order. Okay, so I'm confident that it's sorted. Always a good thing to test, because when you are putting this in, a plus or a minus in the wrong place, or something just didn't work out or whatever, all that on the screen for everybody to see. Things like that can make it not do what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to make this 1,000. We already see that it takes no time at all for 100. We'll run it. 0.9 seconds. It was 0.4 for bubble sort, if I remember right. 10,000. 2 seconds. Look at that. Now, if I did 100,000, I'm guessing this is going to be at least 2.5 minutes, probably. So I'm not going to run it. But if you want to test it on your system, go right ahead. I'm not going to do a video for 2.5 minutes and let it run. Well, actually, I'm going to go ahead and run it, because I'm going to go over selection sort while it's doing that. All right, so, whatever. 10,000. 100,000. Okay. We'll let that go. So selection sort is next. That would be this one. So if I hit run, we'll take a look. And notice that it's going down, smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, this right here is in number of swaps into comparisons. Bubble sort is into comparisons and swaps, both of them. So this one theoretically should be faster, but usually it seems to be slower for whatever reason. So as you can see, it goes to the first one, and then it finds the smallest number, comparing everything until it does, and then it swaps that one item. So we're just going to keep going down the list and swapping everything. Now, if you note, even nearly sorted is kind of sucky, though. It's taking its time. Bubble sort and insertion sort would have finished that earlier. But in reverse, it takes the same amount of time, roughly, to go in and do that. So, let's take a look at what this looks like code-wise. Now, did I finish yet? Bubble sort, hang on. There we go. Nope, we're still going. That's fine. So let's look at the code for selection sort while that's going. I'll make sure to move this over a bit. There we go. So same setup as before. We have our timer, our random. I've got my timer set up from start to end. I've got my fill. All that works exactly the same as copied and pasted. Here's my selection sort code. Now we start. Again, we have 2 for loops. One dealing with kind of what location I'm at, and this dealing with me going down, figuring out where I need to put things. So this is going to go down until it finds one that, is smallest. Once it does, it pops that in that variable, and then it does a little exchange. Then we come up and we do this whole process all over again. So if I were to run this, I'm a little concerned it will overwrite my already running thing. Knew I shouldn't have done that. Well, I've got multiple windows here, so maybe it'll pop up a new window. Let's see. Guess we'll find out. All right, well, let's go with 100. If it overwrites my other thing, well, so be it. It's already been a couple minutes, so. So I'm going to run this at 100 and just make sure that it works. Oh, popped up a new one. Good. Let's see. Is it sorted? Random numbers to sorted order. It is. Okay, so I'm just going to comment those out. I know it's sorted. Going to kick it up to 1,000. That took 0.1 seconds and 0.4 for bubble sort. About middle of the road, actually, between the two. We'll go to 10,000. Now, of course, I am already sorting stuff, so that might affect it a little bit, I bet. But we'll see. We can do these concurrently. This is 2.8 seconds. It's pretty comparative to what we saw before. And I am not doing 100,000 again. This one still hasn't finished. So, but all of these are exponential sorts. If you note, it's 0.2 seconds or 0.02 seconds. It's 2,000 or 100th of a second to complete this. And then we add another 0, and it takes, what is that, 100 times longer for the next 0. So this would take 100 times longer at least. So we'd be talking about at least 2.5 to 3 minutes, depending on your system. Maybe more, depending. Like I said, it took the lab computer up here at Northwest 18 minutes to sort 100,000 with bubble sort. Pretty sure I did that in 10 on just this laptop that I have here, but the lab computer is just a card in the TV, so the power is kind of incomparable. Now, these 3 sorts all do the exact same thing. Oh, there we go, 290. It finished. A little slower than I thought, but I was doing other things. So now that we've got our sorts taken care of, the 3 of them anyway. Now I'll go over shell sort later, but you can see the code of this involves a little bit of division by 3. When we take a look at it, you can kind of see an interesting dynamic here. We'll kind of go a little more into it later, but it splits it up into kind of mini arrays and puts all the necessary numbers in those and then sorts them after that. One of the reasons it probably finishes faster than most of these others. Now, these three are the major loop sorts, and you can kind of see they're not great for getting bigger numbers. Once we get to this range and move ourselves up, we can go to 10, 100 million, 200 million, and it won't take hours like bubble sort would. It literally, to do the exact same thing, it would take a fraction of the time. If you want to take a quick peek at merge sort, you can kind of see, boom, it's done. And then of course we have this heap sort, which I don't usually program, but quick sort I do. You can kind of follow what these do. And we'll get into more in-depth detail of those next week. But those are your other loop sorts. As usual, if you have any questions or anything like that, like how they work, the comparison between them or whatever, feel free to ask. But that's it.